You tuned into this video to get travel tips, and that's what I'm going to deliver. As soon as I show you, that's the Colosseum right there. Yes, it's beautiful, isn't it? Anyway, travel tips. These are coming from my personal experience, not from ChatGPT or some other source. These are things that I wish I would have known. These are things that should save you some time, stress, money, all the above. Anyway, let's get started. Here we go. There's lots of stories of people getting scammed, so to speak, on taxis, and I think most of that comes from people getting into what they think are taxis, but they're actually getting into another type of ride service, not an official taxi. How do you tell what is an official taxi from an unofficial taxi in Rome? It's really pretty easy. The official taxis, for one, they say taxi on the roof, and number two, they're white, typically, and they also have like the rates and stuff on the doors. If you're getting into a sedan that's unmarked, usually a black sedan or van, those are usually ride services, but they're not the official taxi, and they will charge you 2, 3, 4 times as much as an official taxi. One time I did take one from the Termini train station to Piazza Spagna, where I'm at now, and again, it's not metered, so when we got there, it was about, let's say it's about 2 miles. He charged me 40 euros. I've since taken a taxi, and the taxi was just under 10. So yeah, it was 4 times the regular fee. To get a taxi in Rome, you just have to find a taxi station, but it just got a lot easier with a new app called FreeNow. The FreeNow app, you just put in where you want to go, and the app knows where you're at, and a taxi will be to you within 3 to 4 minutes, and you'll be on your way. Another great thing about using the app FreeNow is that with FreeNow, it gives you a range of what your taxi ride's going to cost you. Let's say you're at Rome Termini, you want to head out to the Trastevere neighborhood. It'll give you a range, let's say between 15 to 25 euros. So you kind of have an idea of what it's going to cost. It'll also give you the option of the flat fare, and the flat fare is going to be, let's say, 22 euros. And in my experience, the flat fare is typically more than you would pay if you just use the meter, but you have that option. That way, you won't have any surprises when you get to your destination, and you'll no longer feel threatened about getting ripped off by a taxi driver in Rome. I don't think it happens all that often, but it does happen, and this will eliminate that. Interrupting this video to tell you briefly about our new Rome travel guide called Rome Travel Guida. Yes, we have a travel guide. We created it to help you make the most of your next visit in Rome. We share with you everything you need to know about Rome before coming, everything you need to know about Rome while you're in Rome, and we have GPS maps guiding you to our favorite restaurants, our favorite gelaterias, our favorite pasticcerias, favorite street food. Tons of great information to help you have a great time in Rome. Also want to thank those that have already subscribed to the guide. We've had 100 of you, over 100 already subscribed. We really appreciate it. The guide is $25, but I'm going to put a discount code in this video description that will give you up to 50% off. We really appreciate you, and back to the video. The trick to avoiding the lines at the Vatican is to get there when it first opens. St. Peter's Basilica opens up at 7 a.m. So if you get there at 7, in fact, anywhere between 7 to 8 a.m., you're gonna have very minimal lines. If you get there at 7, you're gonna basically walk right in. If you get there around 8, you're still gonna have a very short line, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But after 8, the lines start forming quickly as trains and buses and the people from the ship start heading into Rome. The lines start getting longer, and you will end up spending 2 or 3 hours waiting in line just to get into St. Peter's Basilica. So get there early and avoid the lines. So you need to make a choice. You want to get up early and get to the Vatican and avoid the line, or get here in the afternoon and stand in line. By the looks of this, it's at least an hour and a half wait. You don't need skip the line tickets to get into the Basilica, you just need skip the line advice. And that's what I just gave you. Hey, I'm back. It's 8 a.m. Friday. And look, where's the line go? You might have thought I was giving you some bum advice. That line is just really short. You can get right in here in the morning. And yeah, I just saved you 2 hours. Instead of standing in line, now you can go enjoy the day in Rome. Why would you want to stand in line while you visit Rome? I don't know. But a lot of people do. They obviously don't subscribe to my channel because they'd know better if they did. If you're planning to go to the top of the dome at St. Peter's Basilica, that opens up at 8 a.m. So my recommendation would be to get there and then get in line about 7:30, 7:45. So that way when it does open, you're one of the first people up there. And then when you get down from the dome, then you can tour St. Peter's Basilica. That's the best way to do it. Both of those have long lines, especially let's say you waited until 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock to get in line for the dome. You're again gonna have to wait in another line that's gonna be, another 1 or 2 hours. So avoid all the lines at St. Peter's Basilica by getting to the Basilica by 7:30, getting in line at the dome, going up the dome, and then when you get down, you're already in the Basilica, so then you can tour it, again, with waiting in lines for neither one of them. That's a great tip, and hope you enjoy both. We're at one of my little favorite finds here recently. It's called Pizza and Po. It's in near the Vatican, and if you're on a budget, this is a great place. It's a great stop. The pizzas are like €5. You can eat a lot of good food in Rome for less than $20 a day. What I would say, if you're on a budget, avoid restaurants. Restaurants are going to cost you quite a bit more. In fact, you're going to spend probably more than €20 just on one meal. But in Rome, you can get pizza. You can get all kinds of street foods. You can eat at the open markets. You can eat in the supermarkets. And $20 goes a long ways. Still get great food and not spend too much. I mean, that's the way to do it.
You and I know the easy does it. I want real meaning, no easy love. If I wait in your time, will it be enough? I've been thirsting for answers, I'm looking up. God, I know you're my portion, please fill my cup. You said that you meant that I ain't giving up. No throwing the cards and no packing my stuff. Won't stop when I fall, cause I saw what you did when you gave up your life and you bought me with blood, bought me with love. I can't give up, I can't give up.
2025 will be a year like no other in the city of Rome. It is the year of the Jubilee, and this is a tradition that's been going on in the Catholic Church for more than 500 years, since 1300. What does that make it? 700 years? Anyways, once every 25 years, all of the major basilicas in Rome, there's 4 of them, their holy doors are unsealed and opened for the public, for the nuns, for the priests, for everyone to walk through. And it has a lot of religious significance, but people from all over the world will be coming to Rome in 2025. If you're going to be in Rome in 2025, I highly recommend you visit these 4 major basilicas. They're all easily accessible using Rome's metro. You've got St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican. You've got Santa Maria Maggiore, the Basilica of St. John outside the wall, and the Basilica of St. John Laterna. Don't miss them. It's once in a lifetime opportunity. In Rome, there are 2,500 nazzoni. That's what these public drinking fountains are called. They're like noses coming out. The water's flowing. The water's great here. It's safe to drink. It's free. And literally, they're all over Rome.
Beware of pickpockets.
Pickpocketing in Rome does happen, unfortunately, and I have a whole video about how to avoid being pickpocketed while you're in Rome. But on this video, let's just say when you're in crowded areas like this at the Spanish Steps, or in other areas like Trevi's Fountain, or in the subway, or at the Termini train station, just pay special attention. When you tour Rome, only carry 1 credit card and maybe enough cash for the day. And then if it does happen, you won't be completely, wiped out or devastated. You can regroup and it won't be that big of a deal for you. In Rome, there are lots of harmless scams. And I mean harmless because they usually don't take you for very much money. For example, there's African men that will come up to you and wanting to give you a free bracelet. Well, after talking to them, usually people end up paying them 2, 3, 4 euros for that free bracelet, but you end up with a friend from Africa and a memento. But there are a few things that can really mess up your vacation, and one of them is having your luggage stolen. What they do is on the trains in the Rome Termini station, and really any train station throughout Italy, they steal your bags just before departure. So when you get on the train, there are overhead bins right above where you're sitting, and it's easy to stick your smaller luggage up there, but your big luggage oftentimes is left in the luggage racks that are near the entrance door or the exit door of the train. And when you're not watching, just before the train departs, they steal that bag, finding your bag to be a treasure chest, leaving your vacation in a real mess. So keep an eye on your bags. Don't let that happen to you. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen every day. So somebody, unfortunately, is not watching this video and is going to not watch their bags and is going to have their bags stolen, and they're going to be sad. If you like the idea of a sunset and want to catch a great sunset over the city of Rome, I've got two options for you depending on where you're at. One is near Trastevere. It's at Piazza Gianicolo. And the other is near Circus Maximus. It is the Giardino dei Aranci. I'll put both of them in the description of this video so you can easily locate them using GPS on your phone. You might be wondering, what about the hop-on, hop-off bus in Rome? Well, in my opinion, it's probably not the best deal. I think seeing Rome from your computer, your television, is great. Seeing it from the hop-on, hop-off bus is just a step above that. I really think you need to get out and walk the streets, and with GPS, it's so much easier than it used to be to find your way around Rome. Another tip is travel with a carabiner. They come in handy for so many things. When I travel, like I have my bag here, I like to put it on my bag, and then when I'm eating and I don't want to forget my bag, I just clip this to my belt. So then it's clipped to my belt, and I don't have to think about it, and that way when I leave, there's no way that I'm going to forget my bag, because if you forget your bag, might as well have had it stolen. Made a better story than just forgetting your bag somewhere. Most people when they come to Rome are going to go to the Colosseum. It's a must-see, and your tickets will get you entry also into the Roman Forum. But what people don't know is you can go into the Roman Forum 24 hours either side of your scheduled time into the Colosseum. So keep that in mind when scheduling your itinerary for the day. You don't necessarily have to visit the Roman Forum at the same day or time that you visit the Roman Colosseum. Buongiorno, Rome, Italia. That's where we're at, Rome, Italy. That was a tribute to Robin Williams, I guess. Anyway, this tip is going to save you some stress, maybe even some money if it happens to you, which it did happen to us. My wife's passport was stolen, and we ended up having to go to the embassy to get that replaced. It was 125 euros. We were there with another 40 or so people getting their passports replaced. It does happen. People lose them. They are stolen. So it's best not to tour the city with your passport. Leave the passports in your hotel, in your Airbnb, put them in your safe if there's one, but don't tour them with you. There's no need to. You just take a picture of your passport, and in the case of an emergency, you have that, and that works just fine. And yeah, keep that passport safe, and save the headache of having to go to the US Embassy in the middle of your vacation. Yes, that's a good advice, I would say. Take it for what it's worth. The first rule of thumb when riding Rome's metro is to not take your personal luggage onto the metro. When you're arriving in Rome from Termini or from the airport, take a taxi. They're not that expensive and it'll save you a lot of hassle. I see people all the time taking their bags onto the metro. And if you're an Italian, that's one thing. You kind of know the lay of the land. You kind of know where you're going. But when you're a tourist, you're a little bit disoriented. You're a little bit lost. And pickpockets can sense that. Then when they see that you're distracted with luggage, you become a prime target. So you're in Rome and you're ready to get on public transportation and you need to get tickets. A ticket is €1.50, and here's how the tickets work. A bus ticket is good for 100 minutes, meaning if you go out and take the bus, go shopping and come back and it's been less than 100 minutes, you only need one ticket. If you go into the metro, once you go into the turnstiles, you're good as long as you stay down there, but once you come up out of the turnstiles to the surface again, if you want to go back down in the metro, even if it's been less than an hour or less than 100 minutes, you have to purchase another ticket. But there is a new thing in town called Tap and Go. And with Tap and Go, you no longer need to have tickets. You can just use your credit card as your ticket. And the way that works is at every metro station, right on top of the turnstiles, there's a little receiver. You just tap it with your credit card and it charges you the €1.50. If you're on the bus, you walk to the front of the bus and there's a screen in English that says Tap and Go on it. And you tap it, it turns green, acknowledging payment, and you're good to go. And here's the beauty of Tap and Go. Every time you get on a bus or metro, you tap, right? And no matter how many times you tap, the most it's going to charge you in 24 hours is €7. In 48 hours is €12.50, and in 72 hours is €18. It's going to automatically give you the best available rate depending on how many times you tapped. So that's the great news. You no longer have to decide, do I need to buy the 3-day pass or do I need the 1-day pass? Am I going to use the metro as much as I think I am? Now you just tap every time and it's going to give you the best available rate. The only caveat is you cannot use the same device or same credit card with two different people. You need to have, if you're going to use the same credit card, you can do that, but you need to have it on two separate devices. Like your wife or whoever could have it on their phone and you could have their actual credit card, or you could both have it on your separate phones, but you can't use the same phone or same credit card to make two separate purchases because it's tracking you individually, and that's just how that works. There's no reason not to have a ticket. You've got one in your pocket, just use it, and it makes getting on the bus or metro so much easier. No longer do you have to hunt for a place to buy the tickets or stand in line when you finally do find a place. If you do still want to buy tickets, the way you get those is at a tabaccaio. Any place that sells tobacco products in Rome sells metro and bus tickets. And the way you know is you're walking down the street, you'll see these T's like on top of, like, sometimes they're in bars and sometimes they're just tobacco stores. But if they have a T, which stands for tobacco, that means they're an authorized distributor for the bus and metro tickets, and that's where you get them. If you're at the stations, you can go in, there's a ticket office in most of the metro stations, and then there's also electronic kiosks where you can put your credit card in and tell how many you want, and it'll print out, tickets for you to use that way. Another tip, never get on the bus or metro without a ticket. They will fine you, and the fines are steep. Now, they don't check every time, maybe only 10% of the time, but if you get caught without a ticket, the fine is like €100. And I have seen people try to talk their way out of it. I mean, they spend 10 minutes, arguing. Hey, I didn't know, I don't speak Italian, whatever. They don't care, and they will fine you. They have very thick skin, they've heard it all. If you're on the metro or a bus, you need to have a valid ticket. So the way you do that is you have a ticket, first of all, and you need to validate it when you enter into the bus. Tickets for the bus are good for 100 minutes. So if you validated it on your first bus, it won't validate a second time. You just need to know, let's say you got on at 3 o'clock, you need to know roughly 100 minutes from now, you're going to need another ticket if you're on that bus, or a different bus. Let's put it that way. If you're on the metro, a little different, because you're going to use the ticket. It's going to validate when you go in. It's going to open up the turnstile for you. But then you need to take that ticket, because where they check on the metro is when you're exiting the metro. And again, they don't check every time, but if they do check, it's going to be at the turnstiles on the way out. And again, don't get caught without a ticket. It will cost you. And it's best just to use tap and go. That's a tip on this video as well. But if you're using tickets, just make sure you have one and make sure they're validated. I'm going to show you how to save time and money. This is both, using high-speed rail in Italy. High-speed rail is awesome. You can get to Rome or from Rome to Naples in less than 1 hour, where before high-speed rail it was around 3 hours. You can get from Rome to Florence in just over an hour and a half, and that was like 4+ hours before. So high-speed rail is definitely the way to travel, but it is more expensive. But with the advice I'm about to give you, I can save you at least 50% on your tickets, and this is how you do it. You look on the app. Today is November 1st, so let's go here to November 1st and look at the pricing. You book the day of or 1 or 2 days out, your pricing is going to be fairly expensive. Okay, the cheapest rate I can find here today from here to Florence is 49 euros, okay? And there's others that are 59 euros depending on the time of day and which train you take. If I book out a bit in advance, there are so many tickets they allow for every train at discounted prices, but they sell out. So in high season, they sell out, even 2-3 weeks in advance. In low season, sometimes 3, 4, 5 days in advance to get the full savings. And I'll show you. Here I can book out basically a week from now, which is November 8th, and I'll search the same. This is for the same trains. Searching. Okay, now look at this. If I want to take an early train out, like 5:40 in the morning, pretty early, you can get there each way. This is each way is $12.90, under 13 euros. But for a regular ticket, I mean, let's face it, 5:40 is not very appealing to get to the train station. I have to get up at 3 in the morning to do that. So you can get a ticket for around 26 euros, depending, 22 euros. There's quite a few here to choose from. And if I went out a little bit further, let's just see. I don't know it's going to change much. This is to the 15th, okay? Oh yeah, there actually are some pretty good savings. You have a 725 for 990 going out another week. You've got 740 for 1240. So you've got an 855 for 2190. And then the rest of them are around 23, 24 euros. So booking, even in off season, going out 2 weeks does save you additional. And in high season, remember, a lot of people travel in high season. Book those tickets, as soon as you can. Book them 3 weeks in advance, 4 weeks in advance. It'll save you a lot of money. Here's the trade-off though. If you do not show up to your train or you miss your train, let's say you're getting a taxi and it shows up late to the station and the train parts without you, you just lost your ticket. They will not rebook you for free. They will not rebook you at all. You're gonna have to buy a new ticket. If you paid full fare, you paid the 50 or 60 euros for the ticket, and you miss the train, they will rebook you for free on the next train, no problem. But that's kind of the trade-off. You just need to be on time to the train station so you don't miss your train, and it won't be a problem. But you need to know that. That is a good tip. Book your tickets early and save money! Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. And for you, I have a special discount code. If you're interested in purchasing the Rome Travel Guida, use code END50 for the biggest discount, 50% off, of our Rome Travel Guide.